Michigan man. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter.
Hey, Schefter.
Schefter, hey, brother.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, where are you right now?
I'm in my hotel room in Philadelphia, about to leave for the stadium as soon as I get done with you. Headed over there to get ready for SportsCenter, for NFL Live, for Monday Night Countdown, for everything that awaits today.
Falcons, Eagles tonight. Cannot wait to watch. Is Saquon and this Philadelphia Eagles team a real deal? Ooh. Or do they have a massive opening night? And is there a book out on them? Let's talk, before we dive into that game tonight and any question marks, let's talk about all these injuries. Hey, there's a lot of injuries happening here early. Obviously, week 1 had its fair share. Week 2, it seemed to double or triple. There's a lot of big names on that list. Let's go first with the Christian McCaffrey announcement. He's going to IR. That happened after our show ended on Friday. It was kind of brought out. He's going to take another 4 weeks. And then I think I heard you say on Sunday that his practice on Friday was the worst he had ever felt since this entire situation happened. So they just said, you know what? Let's put him on IR. Their team, Mason's been able to run well, but they just lose to the Minnesota Vikings. Who knows what the next few weeks look like before he gets back? How was that decision made? And how come we didn't hear about the Achilles tendonitis for a long? That feels like a big deal. And what is Achilles tendonitis?
Well, it's all related, and it's in his Achilles, and I was told over the summer, like, it's his calf and his Achilles. Like, that sometimes is what happens. When your calf is tight, it extends down to the Achilles area. And it was interesting because about a week or two ago, Kyle Shanahan mentioned, oh, yeah, it's his calf and his Achilles. And people were like, it's Achilles? Well, it was always his Achilles. It's been his Achilles all along.
All right, we never heard that.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're listening, I think.
Okay, but here's the deal. He goes on IR, and that sidelines him automatically for 4 weeks. I'll be really surprised if he's ready then. That's me.
Whoa.
Now, I hope he proves me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong. But you're talking about something that sidelined him during basically all of training camp. He came back and felt worse. Not better, worse. So what makes anybody think, logically, what makes you think he's coming back in 4 weeks?
Well, you'd hope with tendonitis, you'd be able to rest it. So tendonitis flares up, I think, with usage. If I know tendonitis, which I have in my knees, I think, a little bit. So you would hope that for 4 weeks, the tendonitis would kind of go down or separate. But I don't think I understand what Achilles tendonitis is. Is the tendonitis between the calf and the Achilles? And did you? I didn't know Achilles had tendonitis.
I don't have any personal history.
That would suck.
Teammates with that.
Because it feels like it's going to pop, that is no fun
at all.
That is the worst feeling you could possibly have,
especially his.
Yeah, bingo. I don't.
You know, Damian Woody was telling me yesterday he had Achilles tendonitis, came back, played, tore his Achilles.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Oh,
jeez.
I don't want to hear that shit.
Kevin Durant,
Yeah, I know.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the point. Like, you have to err to the side of caution. And I will say this.
Because Achilles.
I don't know if there's any player in the league that is more serious about his body and takes better care of his body and puts more care and time and effort into his than Christian McCaffrey. So if anybody's going to try to figure out a way to expedite the recovery, help the healing, it's going to be him. But just on the surface, the signs are not encouraging. They're not encouraging.
What did you guys report about Aaron when he was trying to heal his Achilles? Dolphins mating?
Yeah.
You know,
whales, right?
That's
whale sounds.
Yeah, got to get the whale sounds, put your leg over top of the boat, maybe get some boat out there. We don't know the case, but we hope Christian McCaffrey gets healthy. That's no fun at all, Christian. Pulling for you, CMC. Yep. We're going to miss you. Yep. Let's talk about another explosive player. Justin Jefferson, obviously, yesterday added to his ever-evolving highlight reel with a 97-yard tud from Sam Darnold. Now, that came immediately after the Niners won for it on fourth down. And then quick, hey, how you doing? Keep it moving. We're going the other way for 97. Phenomenal touchdown, phenomenal player, paid a good amount of money. He ends up leaving this game with a quad injury. What are we hearing about this? Obviously, there's going to be more testing and everything, but is this a real problem for the Vikings that don't look now 2-0? Very, very good football team.
Yeah, they are a very good team, and they're playing great defense. They're well coached. Kevin O'Connell's done a great job. Sam Darnold has been incredible. Could be the comeback player of the year. With Justin Jefferson, he said after the game he was fine. Quad injury. So that's a muscle strain, it sounds like. And we'll see whether or not he can bounce back. We'll see if he misses time this week at practice. I think it's up in the air right now, but it's certainly not a long-term injury. It doesn't appear to be any kind of long-term injury, which is encouraging. When you see the guy limp off the field, you don't know what it could be. But he said after the game he was fine, and we'll take him at his word right now.
We definitely will. Hey, Justin, we need you.
Yeah, bad.
We need you out there. What an electrifying human being.
So fun to watch.
So fun
good.
of a football player.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few guys that are like must watch. Justin Jefferson's one.
Wasn't Tony Dorsett's 99-yard run on Monday Night Football, wasn't that in Minnesota? I know it's not the same building, obviously, but I'm pretty sure that Tony Dorsett had the 99-yard run on Monday Night Football in Minnesota against the Vikings. And there's the 97-yard play, not altogether dissimilar, in Minnesota once again.
I'm being told that is an accurate depiction of Tony Dorsett's play.
Pull.
Good pull out of that brain,
Wow.
Shefty. We thought you were just a constant in-out file storage. But instead, Vikings, this is the game right here. This is the play?
No, it was a running play, so and maybe it's the play after that. Maybe by the time we get this segment done, they could get the Tony Dorsett run. 99-yard run against Minnesota, Monday Night Football. I'd love to hear the play-by-play of it, but he breaks out to the right, he dashes upfield, no one's with him, and here it is. This is it. This is the play. Up
Dive.
the middle, breaks to the right,
Right up the
cuts to
middle.
the right.
See ya.
Just as I remember, in the open field, nobody's going to catch him. Yep, there he goes.
Just as I remembered it.
Wow.
Just as I remembered it. Just as I said. You're damn right.
But-
What a run.
Hey, that Justin Jefferson one though, the real highlight of that play.
No shit.
The stripes.
Hey, run that thing back, actually. Deep
Man.
putt. It started hitting the internet, obviously. What is this, the deep judge? I don't know what position it is.
Soon back judge probably.
Look at that dude right there. Look at that ref right there. Slows down, has
Wow.
to regain his speed. Hold on, though. Get out of the way. Still see the action. Flips hips.
Wow. Unreal.
Flips hips.
That's combine. That's combine work right there. Sheesh.
That
Jeez.
back judge is fast.
Yes. Yeah, not just fast. Athletic as shit, Shefty. I mean, they'll have the catapult system on Justin Jefferson, so they'll know how fast he's going at this point. He had to stop, full stop, to get out of the way, then pick the speed back up, get out of the way, flip hips,
Wow.
keep eyes on the play. That was phenomenal stuff. Hey,
then
and
call.
perfect call.
Don't forget about
Beat him in the
that.
Super Bowl.
Perfect call. And everybody's going crazy for Justin Jefferson, and he's he no gas either. He's got to be on the he's got to be on the field the next time. Blakeman's crew. No, he was at the Pittsburgh game, I do believe, right? Clete Blakeman was on.
Oh, yeah, Clete was doing the Steeler game.
Yeah, he was on the Pittsburgh crew because there's a record about how Clete does with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nonetheless, talking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's chat about quarterback situation. D-Butch got a question for you, Chef.
Yeah, the only quarterback in that division, 2-0. Justin Fields obviously playing great, but his I guess the guy who had the pole position, is he a backup now? Who knows? Russell Wilson. What's the latest update with his injury status going forward?
First of all, I love the way that Mike Tomlin talks about these things. Like, we're not going to talk about the guys that aren't playing. Like, the way his language, I can't even speak as well as he does about it, articulate my thoughts or his thoughts as well as he does. But the language he used suggested, obviously, that, he's not worrying about Russell right now. Russell's not fully healthy. Russell's working his way back. And as long as that's the case, Justin's the guy. Look, you're not going to take the guy out of the lineup when you're winning football games. I don't care that he's been... he's not lighting it up with the numbers. They're 2-0. They're winning the way that they should be winning. They're running the football. They're playing unbelievable defense. He's played good, smart football. He is incredibly well-liked in that organization, well-respected. Like, they're not going to go away from that right now. Russell is getting healthy, but you're not going to take a quarterback who's winning, I don't think, and put him on the bench when Justin Fields has played pretty well.
Yeah, and I think as long as they win, that's all that matters. They lose a couple games real quick, they're going to bring up this Justin Fields guy. He didn't do anything. That is how Pittsburgh Steelers fans work. But with that being said, he's made throws whenever he's had to. Darnell Washington is 6'7", and you can't teach Shout out to Enzo. That's a real thing. I don't know how he hasn't been a target since he got into the NFL.
You know why.
Huge. This Steelers team, fun to watch. They're smothering, but they are the Iowa Hawkeyes.
That's right.
We got 13 points. We got 18 points. We got to run the ball. It's
100% right.
that is how it goes. They pick up a couple big-time wins early that I assume Steelers fans weren't 100% expecting to go this way, especially whenever you find out that Russell Wilson's calf from a conditioning period before training camp starts pops up just a few days before the season starts. Interesting. Let's talk about an injury to a running back now that happened. Pacheco. Fibula? Right, that's a big one. That sounds like a big one.
They did the x-rays last night, and they think it's a fibula. They think it's fractured. But he's having MRI today to determine if it is in fact fractured and if in fact there's ligament damage, which usually when there's a fractured fibula, there's usually ligament damage as well. And so he's going to wind up on injury reserve. He's going to miss a minimum of 4 weeks. I think it'll be a little bit longer than that, but it's not going to be season ending. And so they've got some options. They're going to, right now, it sounds like they'll lean on Samaje Perine. Good thing they signed him during the final cuts. And Steele, that running back with the long hair, the long flowing hair.
Carson
now all of a sudden
needs to hold on to the ball. Needs to hold on to the ball.
Damn it.
Reed's got a lot of trust in him, though, and they were talking about it on the call. He fumbles in a very crucial time going through traffic. Reed feeds him again. Reed wasn't worried at all. They know they're going to need him. Samaje Perine, you remember him for the Bengals when he relieved Joe Mixon. He was a dog for them. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to have him ready. This is the fibula here. You see? Oh, jeez, we just lost America. That's not good. But this is the fibula here. Femur here.
Yep.
Both of them problematic. Not good anytime you fracture any of those. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. Why are the refs cheating for them, Schefter?
Tell us.
It's cheating for the Chiefs, really? You think so?
Yeah. Well, I don't think so. I'm just, once again, I observe and report from the internet. A lot of people saying, of course, the NFL wants the Chiefs to win. They got Taylor Swift and Travis and Patrick, and they're calling
Hey, you know what? Here's the deal.
Go ahead, pal.
He beat the ball there. He beat the ball. And it's unfortunate because he's not going to catch it, I don't think. And the call cost him the game. Is he going to catch that?
He might.
You never know.
Crazier
It's the
things could happen.
NFL. It's the
Looks like
NFL.
David Tyree.
Well, and also what gets failed to chat about in this particular convo is there was a hands in the face call, literally the play before that. Like the play right before there was a hands to the face that was very, I don't want to, when you slow it down, it was certainly hands to the face. Should have got called. 1,000% should have got called. But how come like Bengals fans aren't talking about that happening, literally the play right beforehand? They could have just let that slide.
Yep.
That could have easily been we missed a hands in the face. How many hands in the face
first
happened
down.
at all?
Sure.
But this is what happens whenever you become the Chiefs. This is what happens when you become the Chiefs. I'm pulling for them to continue on their run to win 3 straight because I like history. I like greatness. And I like that game with the Bengals. I like this Bengals team, too.
Oh, yeah.
Did you go to the watch party?
No, but it didn't look like very many people went to the watch party, so that wouldn't be that crazy.
Standing room only. I thought it was standing room only.
Yeah,
There was people
because they
standing.
didn't get seats out because there weren't enough people to even
No.
have seats.
That had to be fake. Had to be.
Nope.
Turn the camera around.
Nope.
Look to
No,
the
there's a
other
crowd.
side.
That's the hard
Yeah.
camera side. That's the hard camera side. It's got to be.
Yeah, everyone's sitting behind him, actually.
Yeah, that's
I don't see the Bengals out there.
They stopped by already.
Oh, wait.
Oh, no,
Where's the
360.
Bengals?
Oh, no, actually.
So whenever we said it was a bad idea, we weren't right?
That can't be real.
I don't know.
I thought everyone was going.
In hindsight, though,
I don't know. There's no way that was the $99 watch party, $25 back to concessions and the pro shop, though.
pretty cool experience for the people who did get to go. You're not thinking like there's going to be 8 people here, and you can go put a picnic blanket on the field and basically get
Run
to be
lots?
be a Bengal for a day.
Bucker, 51-yarder. Never a doubt. How about Andy Reid and them not even thinking about getting more yards?
Crazy.
No.
51-yarder, they're like, Bucker's got it.
Why would they?
Bucker's got no problem with
Chip
it.
shot.
And obviously, Bucker had a very, very popular offseason.
Yes.
Okay. And by popular, I mean it was chatted about by a lot of people. He signs the biggest contract that he negotiates himself in kicking history in the NFL, and then he just goes on to never miss. Like that's what Bucker does. Obviously, all of Kansas City's pumped, but if it wasn't for the refs, they would have never won that game. If it wasn't for one guy playing quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts probably win yesterday. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Shefty, I think at this point we can understand that the whole Jordan Love might play thing was gamesmanship, but even LaFleur said, hey, he's more so day-to-day than he is week-to-week. Is there any chance that he's going to go this Sunday in Tennessee? Or are they going to ride the hot hand in Malik Willis and give him an opportunity for a revenge game?
I don't see him riding the hot hand, and I don't think Jordan Love is going to be able to play. Now, again, let's see how the week goes, but I personally do not expect to see him out there Sunday. He could surprise me. He can make a quick recovery. I've thought all along that the two targeted dates were week 4 against the Vikings or week 5 against the Rams. Those always were going to be the two dates that they could get him back by. That's still the hope that he gets back at that point in time, but I think weeks 4 or 5 are more realistic right now.
Okay, weeks 4 or 5 for Jordan Love. Was that them confirming your report right there? That big old ding in the middle of that answer?
Daniel Jones still.
I don't know about that. No, something else.
Whoa, got you a little tongue-tied. That's a big one. Is there a big one coming?
No. Mondays is ambulance chasing day, Pat. That's the day, you go out.
Sure.
That's what it's like. Let's go chase ambulances and figure out how long you guys going to be out. It's
fun.
It is what it is.
How about how I introed you? All right, to talk about all the negative shit from this weekend, Adam Schefter's here with Injury Chatter. And if you have any updates, please do that. Let's talk about some quarterback maybe move chatter that's happening in a great city of Nashville. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefty, there was a photo of Will Levis floating around the internet yesterday. Yep, that's it right there. I thought it was AI. Turns out that you go back and you watch the game. That was a real play by Will Levis where he tried to do the same shit that he does every single week. Is there any chance that they make a quarterback change in Tennessee based on Will Levis just not giving a shit about the football?
I don't think this early in the season. I think that Will Levis is the guy that they're going to continue. That is the play. That is the photo. It's a great photo, not AI.
Great photo.
Great play.
Mason Rudolph is his backup. And Mason Rudolph played pretty well last year for the Steelers when he came on in relief at the end of the season. And I would think that, obviously, if he struggles at a certain point, they can make that decision later on. I don't see them doing that right now. I think that Will Levis has shown them enough. They've invested enough. I think they're going to continue to ride with Will Levis right now. I think those quarterback questions there are a little bit ways off right now. That's my sense.
Oh, and maybe that's a confirmation of something potentially happening. And maybe that's a Will Levis, you don't know shit about our situation text that you just received on this glorious ambulance chasing Monday.
That was Hellman's mayonnaise. They're like, defend our guy here. Somebody, a spokesperson from Hellman's. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Puts mayonnaise into his coffee. Obviously, big story in college as he was coming into the NFL. Some team, just like the Steelers just picked up Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, we're going to redo our entire quarterback room. Need some team to just do it for the good of all of us. Carson Wentz, Will Levis as your quarterback.
Oh, yes.
Right, 2-quarterback system.
Yep.
Okay, and let's just sell tickets. Like the Panthers need to do it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Panthers need to do it because it's must-watch football. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen? Are we going to do good, or is the other team going to do good? You don't know.
Find out today.
Could be the greatest play in your team's history. Also, could be the most spectacular play in the other team's history as well. Carson Wentz football was fun for the Indianapolis Colts. Then there was moments where you're like, why would you ever do that? And then you just quickly learn that Carson Wentz is trying to make the most out of every single play. Will Levis is doing the exact same thing. Every once in a while, you just need to shut the car down, put it in park, though. Yeah. And just know that we'll be able to leave another day. Yeah. Carson Wentz actually threw the ball from one hand to the other, shot put it left-handed, shortest quick pick six in the history of the NFL because the guy caught it in the end zone. And that was against the Titans for the division. So that's fourth quarter. And then the next series, takes football, balances himself with it off ground, throws it into triple coverage. Michael Pittman catches it for a 60-yard gain. It's like, that's Carson Wentz football.
First time.
Will Levis is the same thing. I think Callahan just needs He's Levison. There it is. You just need to know that this is Will Levis football, and he's going to tighten up and he's going to get better. And
hey,
after the game too,
it is amazing.
Yeah. I loved him after the game. I mean, he's an adult.
He can take it.
He can take it.
Here's Coach Callahan after the game talking about what he said to Will Levis.
I think the camera caught it pretty clear. If I had to guess. So, I was upset. It was dumb. It was the same exact thing he did last week, and he cost us points in the red zone. And that is what it is. He's a grown-up, and he knows better. And so, I was really irritated that he cost us 3 points in a game that we probably needed it.
Okay. So
I love that.
We love it.
That is raw, and that is real, and that is very uncoach-like for a coach to say that post-game like that. That was good.
Titans fans are going to be pumped to hear it, though.
Yeah.
Whenever we had Carson, Frank was our coach and Frank Reich and obviously Carson pretty tight. And it was always like something. It was like, we want him to play football. He wants to play. Callahan coming out and be like, nah, yeah, he screwed our team. Yeah,
you know what? You know what that reminded me of? When his father was the head coach of the Raiders, he came out and said, we play dumb football. Dumb football. And so that was like father like son right there, where you got Bill Callahan back in the day ripping his own football team for being dumb. And you got Brian Callahan there ripping his quarterback for playing dumb. Same kind of thing.
Well, the Callahan family, obviously a fantastic one.
Yeah,
They tell like it is.
Yeah, for the American.
We like that.
You were a football fan. Working man.
Yeah, anyways, shots at Callahan's down there, and I think they're going to have a team. I do fear that they're going to have a team. And also, Dad, he's talking about being head coach, offensive line coach, like one of the best in the history of football.
Correct.
And what we're learning, I think if you listen to any of the conversations that we're having or going to have today about what happened in week 2, if you have a good offensive line, you're going to have a good team. Especially in 2024 with the return of The Rock being pounded in this entire thing. Now, let's go to another conversation. Conman has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefter, we spent a lot of the offseason kind of talking about the hip drop tackle, and then last night kind of in prime time, Joe Mixon with a pretty blatant hip drop tackle. He gets hurts his ankle, and there was no call on it. And then obviously the Jamar Chase situation, he gets into it with the referee because he thought he got hip drop tackled. Are they going to kind of zero in on this going forward just because it was such a massive topic before and it hasn't really been called thus far in the season?
I don't think it's been called once yet, right? Have we seen a hip drop call? I don't think so. Like, that's a hip drop tackle there last night, and it gets Joe Mixon rolled up on. He goes out, being tested today. Well, he'll come back with an ankle sprain, maybe a high ankle sprain. We'll see how bad that is on Joe Mixon. But they talked about outlawing it, but they haven't enforced it on the field yet. Now, maybe week 3, all of a sudden, we're going to see a rash of these calls, but there's been a total lack of them so far for whatever reason. And I don't know what's going on, but anytime we've seen a hip drop tackle, it's also easy for us to see on replay how it's happening. But it's right there in front of the refs, and they haven't called it in season in the first 2 weeks so far.
You got to think about, the first ref to call one. And how that whole thing goes, because it's very subjective, right? Because it's something that we just learned of in football world just within the last few years. So, like, the ref has to have a full understanding of what a hip drop tackle is in their first time, really having to enforce it, and then also judging whether or not it was. Mixed one feels easy. That one feels like an easy one for them to call it. They don't. I do wonder if there is a hesitancy, though, of being the first one to call it and then it not being one. And then them getting absolutely crushed. Because this hip drop tackle thing, I know very popular in rugby, we've learned. In the football world, it's not.
No,
it's not.
Tackle.
Yeah, it's not something that's ever really been talked about as a specific form of a tackle in this entire.
Yeah, like that feels like one where the replay assist can be the biggest, help with a call like that because it would be a 15-yarder and it is kind of subjective.
Go ahead, Schefter. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, it's designed for the safety of the players, and the NFLPA objected to the hip drop rule being passed. Like the Players Association didn't want it passed. So think about that for a moment. That's kind of strange when you got a rule that involves safety and the Players Association was against it.
Money.
Well, you got to remember, not only money, because the fines are now open. The NFL can just pick and choose kind of when they want to fine. I think that one's potentially subject to a fine, even though there was no call made. So that'll be interesting to see how they work it. In politics, they say it's like 50-50 or whatever. The NFLPA is also, defense, offense. So, there's a vote coming from the defensive side being like, nah, we don't. We're going to get fined for something we don't even know what it is, technically. Yeah. Well, you got to unweight yourself. It's like, unweight myself.
What does that mean?
Okay, that makes sense. I hope they do get it cleared up because the stats about that particular tackle are not good whenever it comes to injuries. But I think it's going to be a tough thing, judgment-wise, in 2024 just to drop it in and call it. Let's pivot to tonight, shall we? Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, tonight's game, A.J. Brown, he was ruled out already, I believe, obviously coming off of another fantastic Week 1 game. So he'll be out tonight. Any other injuries going into tonight? And how long would his A.J. Brown injury supposed to be? How long is he supposed to be out? I'm sorry.
Yeah, with A.J., it tightened up on him on Friday. He didn't practice Saturday, and they ruled him out Sunday. Now, that's a hamstring. So, again, I haven't spoken to anybody there yet. I'll see people tonight, but my guess would be if you don't practice and you're ruled out the next day, I think it's fair to wonder if he's going to play next week. It's just common sense. It's a hamstring. So I'm sure they're going to hope to get him back as soon as possible. And whether he can make it back for next week is in question. We will see.
We hope A.J. Brown gets back. Obviously, great players on the field is good for everyone, especially prime time like tonight. Speaking of prime time, Kirk Cousins, baby. How we feeling? What's the conversation? How should we be looking at this evening? No chance of Penix regardless, right?
Well, no. Here's the deal. I think we saw some quarterback. I saw some quarterbacks and teams already get better in week 2. You see, gradual progression. Here's a guy, Kirk Cousins, who tore his Achilles last year, who didn't play in the preseason, who came out last week and clearly was rusty, and now he gets a chance tonight to go out. And I think you'll see some of that rust shaking off, and I think there'll be improvement from him. And, if the Eagles are vulnerable anywhere, it would be in the secondary. So I think he's going to have the chance to make some plays. And we know his record on Monday night has not been exactly stellar. So we'll see if he can improve that this year. But I would think he'll be better than he was last week, which that's not saying much, but I expect that to be the case tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how this game unfolds, because if the Eagles continue to do what they did in their first game, like Saquon could be electrifying again, which is good to see.
Well, what's interesting is that when I had O's the Mentalist, we went to go meet the Eagles in Foxborough this summer. We pulled into the hotel, about 11:15, and a group of the offensive linemen were coming back from wherever they were, dinner, night out, and we were talking to them. And the one thing that stood out to me that they said was that they said, Saquon, wow, we knew he was good. We didn't realize he was this good. Like, the offensive line was raving about Saquon that night. There's a reason. That's why I drafted him 5th overall in one of my fantasy leagues.
Okay, inside information there. It feels like that should be investigated just a little bit. And the fact that you have O's the Mentalist around you, just potentially pulling things out of people's brains, is also maybe a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah.
I know you and O's went back to Michigan and blew their minds before the national championship last year. Did you know Orgy has been named the starter for Michigan? You already knew that or no? We breaking news.
I did not know that, but you just broke news to me. I like that. That's very good.
Hey, you do like Orgy getting in there? Okay, obviously.
No. Well, I like Davis Warren. He's a good kid. We'll see how Orgy does. Hopefully he plays very well. I like you breaking news to me. I like that.
Yeah, me too. I like doing that. Little journalistic standards. To hold up one side or the other.
That's Big J.
Me too. I'll put a suit on every once in a while. We can't thank you enough, Schefty. Good luck the rest of the day. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch next week.
You're the man, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Schefter.
Hey.
Big news.
Ambulance chasing. Big news. Orgy's starting quarterback for Michigan. Been described as one of the greatest athletes that has ever played in Michigan. Can he complete some passes? We shall see.